The year was 2030, and the world was facing a threat it had never known before. From the Vatican, news came that left humanity in a state of amazement and fear. Pope Francis had received prophetic visions, shared and corroborated by various spiritual traditions around the world. These visions warned of the imminent appearance of demonic entities, determined to sow chaos and destruction. Pope Francis, in an unprecedented global press conference, accompanied by spiritual leaders of all religions, addressed the world. The words resonated with blunt truth: the dark forces are preparing to attack. We are not defenseless. Our ancestors left us powerful tools to confront this darkness. Thus began a global alliance based on ancient mystical knowledge. Schools and spiritual centers around the world began teaching forgotten mystical arts. From Norse runes to Celtic incantations and Native American shamanic rituals, humanity was preparing for a spiritual battle like no other. Ceremonies under full moons and solar eclipses became common events, where people restored their connection with the forces of nature. A global network of sacred sanctuaries was established, located at points of high spiritual energy. Tibetan monasteries, Celtic stone circles and indigenous temazcals were reactivated with ancient symbols of protection and spells etched into the stones and sacred grounds. These places acted as barriers against evil forces, providing refuge and spiritual strength to those who visited them. Among the many who rose up to defend humanity, a young woman named Maria emerged. Descended from a long line of South American healers, Maria became one of the leading spiritual guardians. With unwavering courage and a pure heart, he led a diverse group of individuals gifted with extraordinary abilities. One night, Maria and her team received an urgent call. A demon had taken control of an ancient Inca temple in the Andes. This mission was dangerous, but failure was not an option. Armed with ancestral knowledge and unwavering faith, they traveled to the heart of the Andes. There, in the middle of the sacred mountains, they felt the presence of the demon, a dark shadow that whispered promises of power and revenge. With steady hands, Maria and her team began the ritual to exorcise the demon. They drew runes around the central altar and recited incantations in ancient languages. Maria placed her jade amulet in the center, a gift from her grandmother, a famous healer. Suddenly, the demon manifested itself with a roar that shook the walls of the temple, a dark entity with fiery eyes and sharp claws. The battle was fierce. The demon launched shadow and dark energy attacks, but the guardians resisted, protected by their faith and magic. A Celtic druid invoked a barrier of light, while a Native American shaman called upon the spirits of sacred animals. Finally, Maria recited the final incantation, uniting all traditions in a song of power. With a flash of light, the demon was sucked into the portal that closed with a bang, sealed forever. The victory was not only a battle won, but a reaffirmation of human strength and unity. Back at the Vatican, the spiritual leaders informed the world of their victory. Humanity celebrated, but also pledged to keep ancient wisdom alive and to always be vigilant. Ancient knowledge had proven to be the key to overcoming the darkness. Everyone was reminded that the union of faith and ancient magic, along with human determination and courage, could overcome any evil. Maria, with her team of guardians, continued to travel the world, closing portals and banishing demons, restoring peace and hope wherever they went. The visions that Pope Francis received were not an isolated event. From different corners of the world, shamans and spiritual leaders began to experience dreams and trances that led them to the same conclusion: something dark was approaching. In the Amazon, an old shaman saw shadow entities emerging from the depths of the jungle in his ayahuasca ritual. In the highlands of Scotland, a druid observed in the stars and in the flight of birds signs of an imbalance that presaged the arrival of evil forces. Spiritual communities around the world began to share these experiences through a global communication network established by the Vatican. In virtual meetings and gatherings at sacred sites, leaders from different traditions discussed their visions and ancestral knowledge. It was in one of these meetings where it was confirmed that the visions were true and that the threat was real and global. To coordinate an effective response, Pope Francis convened an interfaith council at the Vatican. This council included representatives of Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam, Judaism, indigenous religions, and many other traditions. The goal was to unite the knowledge and skills of each tradition to confront the demonic threat. For days, spiritual leaders debated and shared their knowledge. It was decided that the best approach was to combine the mystical and ritual forces of all traditions in a coordinated effort. Plans were designed to teach and disseminate these practices globally. The leaders also agreed to establish sacred shrines and train spiritual guardians who could use this knowledge on the battlefield. With the leadership of the Interfaith Council, global preparation began in earnest. Schools and spiritual centers around the world were equipped to teach mystical arts. In Europe, ancient castles and monasteries became academies of Celtic magic and Norse runes. In America, from the Andes to the Rocky Mountains, shamans and healers taught native rituals and techniques of invoking protective spirits. The ceremonies became community events. On full moon nights, entire towns gathered in stone circles to recite spells and perform protection rituals. These ceremonies not only strengthened the spiritual connection of the communities, but also acted as a shield against evil forces trying to infiltrate. The spiritual guardians were selected for their affinity with mystical forces and their ability to quickly learn ancient knowledge. Maria, our protagonist, was one of the first to be chosen. From a young age, Maria had shown a deep connection with the spiritual world, learning the arts of healing and protection from her healer grandmother. The training of the guardians was rigorous and exhaustive. Under the tutelage of shamans, druids, and other spiritual teachers, guardians learned to use amulets, talismans, and mystical artifacts. They learned to summon protective spirits, use the power of runes to seal portals, and banish demonic entities. Each guardian developed a unique set of abilities, but they all shared a common goal: protect humanity from the approaching darkness. After the victory in the Andes, Maria and her team returned to the Vatican, where they were received as heroes. However, their triumph was short-lived, as a new threat loomed on the horizon. An ancient demon, more powerful and cunning than any other, manifested itself in the very heart of the Vatican. Possessing the form of an angelic being, this demon deceived many with his benign appearance, wreaking havoc from within. With bravery and determination, Maria and her team faced the demon in a final battle that would shake the foundations of the earth. Using all the skills and knowledge they had acquired, they fought the demon's wiles with renewed ferocity. The battle was epic, with flashes of light and shadows dancing in a whirlwind of energy. But Mary and her companions stood firm, remembering the strength of their union and the wisdom of their ancestors. Finally, with an act of supreme sacrifice, Mary managed to seal the demon in a dimensional portal, saving the Vatican and humanity from total destruction. With the demon defeated and the threat neutralized, humanity breathed a sigh of relief. In the middle of the celebration, Mary addressed the crowd gathered in St. Peter's Square. With a firm and resonant voice, he reminded everyone of the importance of unity and faith in times of adversity. Our victory was not just because of our individual abilities, but because of our ability to unite as a single force against the darkness, he proclaimed. And so, as the sun rose above the horizon, humanity looked toward a new dawn full of hope and promise. The threat of demonic entities had been faced and overcome, but the fight for peace and justice would continue. Below I leave you a phrase: in the deepest darkness, we find the brightest force. United, we can overcome any challenge that stands in our way. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe for more stories of bravery and hope in this world of mystery and wonder.